Okay, so what is HANA? I'm pretty sure you've gone through the example here, okay, that I've given on my website, but I'll reiterate this because this is the simplest way to explain it. Okay, every training that you might have attended, even on HANA, would say that HANA is like a RAM of your CPU. Okay, so whenever you have data and you send it to the RAM in your CPU, it is accessed really fast because that data is in memory, and RAM memory is really fast to be accessed. But your problem is your laptop or your PC will always have a limitation of how much RAM you can put in. Okay, it might be 4 GB, 8 GB, or the high-end ones will have 16 GB. Okay, so the more your RAM among other parameters, the better the performance, right? So your laptops have a limitation. I cannot just go and stick in a 16 GB RAM and expect it to suddenly run faster. There are other parameters. Your motherboard has to support it, right? So how is a RAM different than a regular hard disk? Okay, the hard disk access is slow, okay, and the RAM access is really fast due to the way data is stored. We'll get into that in the next topic. Okay, so the RAM in your PC is really fast, and that is why um, your access is fast. For example, when you start an application in your PC, just after you restart it, the data gets loaded into your RAM and it gets displayed on your system. But what happens when you load the next program? It will take its own time and start again, right? But if you load the first program again after closing it, the second time it's always loads faster. Why? Because that program is already in the RAM. Okay, but again, if you keep loading different programs and try to start the first program again, that is slow again because your RAM had only 2 GB or 4 GB of memory, and you already loaded 4 GB worth of programs into that memory, and your old program is now out of the RAM. It's no longer there because it was not accessed recently. Okay, so it's important to see that there's a limitation to what you can store in the RAM. That is why you have a hard disk below it, okay, so that you can store everything that you have in your system in a persistent storage where it remains. And you might have learned in your schools that RAM is a volatile memory. Once you switch it off, everything in it is gone. Okay, so you need a place where even after your system is switched off, your data goes and gets saved. That is why you have a hard disk always. Okay, so your hard disk provides a layer where you have everything and everything is backed up, and your RAM provides a place from which your presentation layer or your applications can go. Your application can go and pick up data really fast and access things really fast. Okay, so um, now what goes into the RAM and what stays back? Okay, that is a area of debate, and that has been a problem for SAP since long. Okay, this is a topic I don't have in the tutorials. Okay, um, data is classified by SAP into three parts. Okay, I'll just show this in here. Okay, is oh sorry. Okay, you have the first set of data called the cold data. Okay, the next set of data, that is the warm data, and the next set of data, that is the hot data. Okay, what is hot, warm, and cold? Okay, so if you're a company like, let's say, Pepsi, okay, you've been in business for quite some time. Okay, now I want my HANA database and its applications that I build on it to really tell me how well my sales are right now in the current fiscal year or in the current quarter. And for example, in holidays like Christmas or something, okay, the consumption might be high, okay, or there might be events that have just started, like maybe some sporting events that have started in these recent years, during which times the consumption is more. Okay, so if I want to know how much stock I should keep or produce for next year's August or September, or these times, or for the next 2 years, I want to plan how much stocks will be required, how much I am putting into inventory. Okay, what data would I look into to plan this? Okay, would I look into my 2-year-old data? Would I look into my 10-year-old data? I've been in business, Pepsi has been in business for I don't know how long, probably around 50 years or more, right? So would I look into data from 1950? I I would look into a recent data set, right? Probably 2 years, 3 years or something related to that. So it's important here to understand, for companies to understand which data is most important to me, okay, which goes into the RAM. As I said, the computer had a limited amount of RAM, okay, and not everything can go and sit in the RAM. In an ideal world, I would keep everything in the RAM and everything is fast, but that's not the case, right? You have a hard disk which is big enough to keep everything in it, and you have your RAM for important things that are accessed frequently. Okay, so now companies realize that, SAP realize that I don't want to spend my hardware or waste my hardware cost in putting something into that RAM that um, that is not accessed really fast, because HANA is an expensive piece of hardware. Okay, why would I, if I had 1 TB worth of data in my whole system, why would I spend 1 TB worth of HANA hardware? Why would I buy 1 TB worth of HANA hardware there? Okay, it's a waste of time, because most of it is not of use to me. It's probably older than 5 years. Okay, so I want to have a strategy here to understand what is my data temperature. Okay, this is called the data temperature concept. Okay, so I want to have a strategy here to differentiate between hot, cold and warm data and how I handle them. Okay, so this is a concept we will revisit when we go deeper into HANA, how SAP HANA differentiates this, and this is one of the reasons why SAP HANA does so well, because it differentiates between what should be there in memory in the RAM for now, okay, and what should not be in the memory, and whatever is not in the memory, how is it accessed? Okay, if someone decides to access this cold part, okay, what is the strategy of storing that? Okay, because I cannot throw out this data for many reasons, including legal reasons. Cannot go and delete all my sales data from 50 years ago, because that is also important to me. Okay, so these are all the needs of why HANA was born. Okay, these are also the important factors that went into HANA design. Okay, so this is also a problem with your PC as well. It has to decide what to keep in your RAM based on your usage. Okay, so we are still speaking in terms of RAM, because I've not gone into the in-memory concept of it. But data temperature is a problem or a concept in any kind of analytics, whenever you go to data warehousing or anything else. Okay, so any questions on the data temperature concept? Is it clear? Okay, fine. So coming back to what is HANA. Okay, HANA is basically purely a database, plus it has a lot of engines with it, a lot of applications around it. Okay, HANA is more than a database, but yeah. Suresh, are you saying something?
Hello. This data temperature concept is also in the Teach Me HANA link. Teach Me
No,
HANA
it is
link.
not there. It is not there.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Yeah. So there are a lot of things I did not find time to write. I'll write it somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
Okay. So you will have this video. You can, anyways, it's not a very complicated thing. You can even search for data temperature in SAP HANA. Okay. So fine. So what is HANA? Okay. So again, HANA is a database which processes data really fast based on the in-memory concept. Okay, so imagine if this RAM component, if the RAM here, okay, imagine if this was fast enough. Okay, imagine if this was big enough to hold a lot of data. Okay, this is 2 GB. Imagine if it was 2 terabytes. Okay, imagine if it was that big. How much would I be able to put in there? Okay, uh, how much speed would I get? How much time? How much less time would I waste loading data like BW? Okay, if you've seen BW, you usually put in data loads at the end of the day, and you have process chains running for 8 or 9 or 10 hours a day. Okay, and sometimes it loads so long, and there are errors, and then your support team is spending hours fixing it, and by the time the client comes in next morning, it's still not fixed, and they are pissed off because there's no data there. Okay, what if there is no data load, kind of batch load required? What if the client could go and see data at runtime? HANA tries to answer that using the in-memory concept. What if you could have a bigger RAM? Okay, so again, if you have any questions, you can unmute your mic at any point or send me a chat. I will stop there and explain. Okay, no problem. So um, HANA uses the in-memory concept. Okay, it is not new. It is not new at all. BW used to use something called as BW Accelerator, BWA, which was like a mini HANA, mini in-memory database, wherein whenever you had something really critical and you could not um, you could not execute it really fast, you attach a hardware component called as BW Accelerator. That was a mini in-memory system that data went and sat on those blades, and the reporting became faster only for those specific cubes that you put in there. So what if your entire data models could entire set of data models could be on that BW accelerator? Okay, it would be really expensive, but what if it could? So HANA tries to answer that question. Okay, again, in memory is not a new concept. Oracle had it in the 1980s. Oracle still has it in a database called Times 10. Okay, the Oracle CEO still doesn't believe in memory as a solution to everything. Okay, so he says this is a waste of money still. You can search for Larry Elliott's. Uh, you can search for the Oracle CEO's comments on SAP HANA. He still doesn't believe in the vision of having in-memory databases for all your reporting needs. But SAP has been proving it wrong, proving it right, and that it is possible in most clients. I've seen clients where it doesn't work that well, but it's mostly because the developers do not use the right strategy of data modeling, or the design is bad. Okay, so I would like to tell you to think of HANA as more of design concept rather than the tool. Okay, people think that HANA is about the tool of HANA Studio going and creating these views. Okay, HANA is not about those views. Okay, you build a really good HANA system even before you go to that development uh, environment. Okay, HANA is about having enough experience to understand if you have three tables, which ones to join first. Okay, how to join them? How could I make this better before even touching that system or looking at those tables? Okay, so that is real HANA. That is how you actually become a real-time HANA consultant. Okay, because it's HANA Studio is so damn simple. Once I show you, you would you already know it. But if you were a fresher, you would think this is a waste of money that you're doing because it was so simple. You could have picked it on your own. Because the real effort that you would have to put in is to understand how to design that model even before you develop it. Okay, so that part is also not here. Okay, what I teach you in Teach Me HANA is um, about how to develop things and the basic foundation concepts of HANA. Once we have enough knowledge on all these things, we will go back and understand how to design these solutions. Okay, if I tell you that I want to design a solution for my financial data flows, okay, so for my entire SAP financial application, okay, that comes from, let's say, 4 SAP source systems, 4 SAP transactional sources, one for Germany, one for US, one for South America, one for Canada, whatever. Okay, what are the challenges that will be there in those uh, uh, developments? Okay, because the same tables, general ledger, same account receivables, same tables would come from all 4. Okay, but would you go and just do a union or a join or whatever to just develop the data models, or are there considerations that you should take in the design before even you develop that? Because the cost of fixing something in the testing phase is really high, because you have to go back and redesign it, then go back and recreate it, go back and retest it, and then go for the user testing again. Okay, so that puts you in a really bad light and your company in a really bad light in front of the customer. So I would request you to open your minds to designing things rather than just concentrating on the HANA Studio. HANA Studio, except for the SQL part, the graphical part, the drag and drop part, is really simple. You will probably pick it up in 7 or 8 days. The SQL part will take a while, but think of this in terms of design. Okay, if you have learned BW is a really important concept, and if you know of it, it's really better. Okay, because how did the InfoCubes look at the backend? Okay, those fact tables combining with those dimension tables. Okay, that is a really core concept of data modeling. That concept has been there since data modeling started. Okay, and these kind of small concepts, these things that we think is just theoretical, is the actual base for a really good design in HANA. And HANA is about design, because BW takes care of your design. When you click on the activate button, it does a lot of things in the backend that you are not responsible for. HANA is basically you doing an application from scratch. There's no assistance. Okay, uh, that is absolutely you. So you have to develop an optimal design and not just go blindly combining tables to get a blind result. Okay, so open your mind, correlate everything to what you know in BW. Okay, how those cubes and DSOs are stored in the backend. Okay, and you will understand how HANA works in the backend as well, because you have to develop what BW does when you press that little activate button on there in a BW model. Okay, so that is about HANA design. Again, coming back to this, so this is how HANA works. In-memory HANA DB, you have a really fast RAM. Okay, and you have different processors or engines in it that process different types of calculations. Okay, so different types of calculations go into different engines, and it's really fast because it's in memory. It uses something called as a column store database. rather than a row store database. We'll come to that, what that thing means. Okay. And it has scheduled backups into a persistent disk. Okay. And these backups are taken using save points and log points. Okay. So what happens is, let's say your HANA was running really fine, everything was good, applications were running great. Suddenly there's some problem and crash happens. What happens to your data? Okay, so for that you need backups. Okay, so what happens is usually every 5 minutes the data that is going on, the calculations that are going on here and the results are stored in the persistent disk below, okay, that you see here. This is usually bigger, okay, has to be bigger than the actual HANA DB. Okay, this persistent disk saves all the results of the HANA database every 5 minutes, so that in the event of a crash, you have backups here. So again, there's a question that if it happens every 5 minutes and if something goes wrong in the 4th minute, what happens to the data what happens to the result sets that were there between that 1st minute and the 4th minute? Okay, for that you have something called as log points. Okay, the earlier concept that I explained to you was called save points. Okay, so once you, as I said, every 5 minutes, by default, unless the administrator change the time, usually it's 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes it keeps saving, and that is the data being saved. Okay. Plus, HANA has something called as the you have this log points also, where you keep saving logs of what is happening in the HANA in-memory database. Okay, for example, picking up data from a table. Okay, that is a select statement. Okay, it is a select statement in SQL. Joining something, it's a join statement. Okay. You deleted something, it's a delete statement. You inserted some data, it's an insert statement. Okay, so these are statements. Okay, the result set is stored using save points, but these statements are not saved, right? The result of these statements are saved using save points, but the HANA also saves these logs in between these 5 minutes. Okay, so whatever is happening, these SQL scripts that are going on, okay, like select, insert, delete, HANA also saves these logs, okay, in between these 5 minutes, between two save points. So if at all there's a crash or the power goes off or whatever, for whatever reason, between those 5 minutes, if this crashes, even though I don't have the result data stored in my persistent disk as backup, I will have these logs of whatever was done. For example, in the till the 4th minute, I ran two select statements from the table, from a finance table. I inserted 3 records into sales table or something. Okay, and I updated another record of a production table or whatever. Okay, production planning table. So although I don't have the result saved here, I have the statement saved in my log point. Okay, so when my HANA comes back up, first thing is it recovers all the save data from the save point in the from the database. Then it checks what all logs are left from after the save point. Okay, so now it runs those statements again. So those statements generate the same output again, and when the next 5 minutes are reached, that output gets saved and persisted in the final persistent disk. Okay, so save points helps data that has already been data or SQL scripts that have been already committed within the save point range of every 5 minutes, and log points help recreate those conditions to generate that data that was lost, and when the system comes back again, that those statements are run again, and that data, when it's generated in the next save point after 5 minutes, gets saved in your HANA database again. So was I clear enough? Do you understand the difference between a save point and a log point?
Yes, Shyam, I have a question. This is Aman. So for the recovery, do you need to actually run some script for the recovery, or it's automatic recovery?
It's automatic recovery. Your administrator has to run some backup processes. It's part of it.
Okay.
Okay. Smita, Suresh, any question from whatever I've taught till now? I'll just have a glass of water till then. Yeah.
I understood it.
Okay. And since you guys also have knowledge in something of the background here, so if you want to add something that would be interesting to us, you can also.
Shyam, see, most of these recovery activities are performed by basis team, admin teams.
Yes, it is part of the administrative team.
So as a data modelers, we should only have knowledge of this part, right? Or technically, we have to see.
No, we don't have to do this anytime. Okay, unless you are in a smaller company where you take a role of all of this. But usually it won't come to you because this is a separate activity and it's a critical activity. Usually people with developers are allowed nowhere near administrative user names as well. So it's not your job, but it's important to know because interviewers love these questions as well. Okay.
Correct. There is something.
So for any crashes, Shyam, we will bother about it or not?
No,
Like if
you're a
crash is
developer,
there or something?
if you're a developer, it's not your job. Okay. So you can send a mail to your administrator just bugging them every 5 minutes to fix it. But you should know the concept. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Fine. So let's go to the next concept. Okay. Row store and column store.